Hello and a very warm welcome to the Inspire Sport Netball Europe U17 Championship here in Huddersfield. This weekend, England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland are joined for the very first time by winners of the Netball Europe U17 Challenge event in October last year, the United Arab Emirates. We have 3 days of top international netball for you this weekend, and what a day one was yesterday. Northern Ireland and newcomers Emirates had everyone on the edge of their seats in a thrilling opening game, Emirates winning by 1 goal in the dying seconds. This was followed by a close contest between Wales and Scotland, Wales finishing ahead 55-46. In the evening session, England beat Wales 72-26 and Scotland got the upper hand on Emirates, winning 72-30. So it's been an intense competition with everything to play for, and the last place team being relegated to the challenge section next year. I'm Nolene Lennon and I'm delighted to be joined in the commentary box by Kendra Slavinsky, former England international, as we get ready to call this game of Wales against the Emirates. How are you, Kendra?
I'm good and I'm really excited. This is going to be a really interesting game because it's going to have a real impact on standings.
Absolutely. So Wales are coming in off the back of 2 wins yesterday. And Emirates are then had a big break, or they had a break and then 2 games yesterday, struggled at that second game against Scotland. Maybe that was travelling, so they have got over that bit of jet lag now.
Yes, I think so. I think when you look at it, their body clocks were really out of sync in that second game yesterday, because by rights they should have been in bed, asleep and possibly not having their second netball game of the day, having travelled.
We know what it's like playing 2 games back to back, and that recovery element is so important, but adding in that time dimension as well, it makes it a bit more challenging. So the teams are lining up here, and we will just introduce you to the starting teams for both sides. So for Wales we have Charlotte Jennings-Evans in goal shooter, goal attack Elise Gallagher, wing attack Maisie Morgan, centre Catherine Titley, wing defence Lauren Francis, goal defence Megan Evans and goalkeeper Millie Carter. And their substitutes are Esme Cornelius, Georgia Kellyman, Victoria Bidniak, Sienna Wilkinson and Josie Williams. So who are the standout players for you on this Welsh team, Kendra?
Well, obviously the Welsh girls can score goals, and they reflected on that when they played They beat Scotland yesterday, so I would be expecting their attack to be really functioning well. Unfortunately they lost to England, so obviously their defence just need to obviously tighten up and think of key things that they need to do in order to obliterate the attack of the Emirates.
Excellent. So these 2 teams are just starting to come on the court now. We're also seeing Maisie Morgan coming back on the court there, very dynamic wing attack for Wales. So it'll be very exciting to see what this Welsh attack do. Just then looking at the Emirates team then. For goal shooter we have Georgia Allen, goal attack Zoe Stapley, wing attack Chloe Rosso, centre is Leandri van Herden, wing defence Lara Begley, goal defence Nicole Sproul and goalkeeper Ava Warren. And their substitutes are Libby Borley, Cassandra Gottschalk, Nidhi Sethi, Ines Shaman and Eva Zickerman.
Yes, and in talking to Jeb Jones after that second game from last night, she's hoping that they will really recover well today, having had a good night's sleep, and that their basic skills are back where they should be at the level that she wants them to perform.
So we're in for a good contest here today. So the umpires are just picking up the ball, getting ready for the centre pass. Our umpires today are Lindsay King and Farah Jura, and the reserve umpire is Kate Mann. It's this nervy part now where the players just want to get the game underway. And it's a Welsh centre pass.
It's a brisk start by the Welsh.
Lovely. Elise Gallagher just finding Charlotte Jennings-Evans under the post there, and Wales get their score up and running.
And that's a great settler. Most teams will be wanting to score off their own centre passes at the beginning. We'll just see if the Emirates can do exactly the same, but a fumble outside the circle helped with a little bit of contact.
And Georgia Allen just finding somewhere where she's comfortable to get that first shot away. She was such a target for the Emirates team whenever they played Northern Ireland.
Yes, she's got good range, long limbed, and they'll be looking to have to feed that ball accurately into the space for her.
So both teams securing their centre pass at the minute.
Yes, it's a positive start by both. There'll be a few nerves out there because they know it's a very important game. It could affect the standings at the end, whoever comes out as winners. Just a little bit of loose play in the attack Jones won't be happy with. They just need to tidy up a little bit. Good clear ball to the circle edge and a lovely feed in from Titley. Wales are getting real depth off that second ball off centre pass. Slight miss, rebound, and hopefully the Emirates can transition this ball safely. It's high defence by the Welsh.
They're really forcing Emirates out wide, having to use that sideline, bring the ball down the court. And Allen finds the baseline, just unable to get that shot to drop.
It'll be interesting to see how the Welsh transfer this ball down through the court. It's a pick up there by the Emirates. Just be patient round the circle. Yes, it was some really good defence by Evans and Carter.
And Emirates have a chance to draw level again here on their own centre pass. Unfortunately, just a bit of contact there, but a possession back to Wales. So Emirates with it all to do now.
Yes, they may need to be looking at some preliminary moves before they move off, but that was a lovely handoff there by Spal. Gallagher gets a second opportunity, but unfortunately for her, it's picked up on the rebound by the Emirates. So just a little bit of lack of control through that mid-court with that turnover ball.
It's something coaches want to do, is to get the ball coming and flowing through the court, but then still with that control as well.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to reset, particularly if it comes back too quickly and everybody's not ready, focused and on board to attack. Sometimes the short play, the quick 1-2s are the way to get through it.
So it's good pressure by Emirates here. Wales having to work the ball around. Just bring it up into this attacking third now. Morgan with a lovely feed into Jennings-Evans. Puts that away. So 4-2 now to Wales.
Yes, Morgan is finding a lot of space on the top of that D at the moment, which is the ideal feeding position. And a couple of quick goals for Wales takes the score out to 5-2.
You sense they're getting into a wee bit of a rhythm here now.
I think they've settled. They're the team that settled the easiest the first, and I think it's always nice when you get a couple of goals up. But again, there's that high defence from Wales causing problems. It's not quite as fluent as they need it to be. The ball speed and the hand speed is not there. Nice touch on the ball by Evans, but it came off Stapley. So it's a backline to Emirates. Just got to get their timing right from this. It's much better possession. And a lovely little dodge by
Allen.
Thank you. Yeah, she's quite a target in there with her height and with her range.
Yeah. And Emirates seem to be leaving her exposed in that circle as a one-on-one.
I think if they can get early ball down there, then that one-on-one she should dominate, but it's where it's a little bit slow, a little bit congested, and they're not seeing that first time ball into her. They're having to reset it, and it's proving quite difficult. That's a lovely roll. And again, the Welsh attack have got possession, hopefully looking to take the lead out to 3. But a little bit inaccurate in placement of that ball. She was free, just needed to put it into the backspace a bit more. Emirates are very committed on their defence.
There's that roll again. Jennings-Evans doing a great job coming forward, really committing the defender to roll back into that open space.
But Warren's just getting a tip to it. Just the placement of the pass just needs to be a little bit more accurate. And that's a super shot from the middle of the circle.
Do you know what? It's great whenever Gallagher is starting to take those shots as well, because it means that the defence are going to have to be honest and focus on both players rather than just dropping back onto Jennings-Evans.
Absolutely, they did put a double on earlier, but they've got to be quicker in coming off and making those decisions. But that was some lovely work defensively by the Welsh in front, making it very difficult for the feed.
But just unable to reward it there, just coming into that attack in third. Oh, we have another opportunity.
I wouldn't like to be centre in this game. Yeah. Not at the moment. It's a better transition. But again, it's that final placement pass that's perhaps just a little impatient, especially on turnover ball. You really need to treasure it a little bit longer.
Good hands there by Millie Carter, just that pop out wide again. It's just that last placement of the pass going into the circle for Emirates.
Yeah, nice and steady play through the middle by Wales. And some lovely space behind the shooter, but just didn't see it. Some good covering of hands over ball. Again, we have a contact call. Could take the lead up to 4 if this one goes in.
So Emirates have the ball in hand again. And we'll be looking to take this one back to goal just to stay in touch with Wales. So the score just doesn't push out any further. We're sitting at 8-4 at the minute, with Georgia Allen hoping to bring it back to 8-5.
Again, that's unfortunate. A little bit of a waste ball there from Emirates. Oh, and I say waste ball for Emirates. Again, just that little bit of impatience from Wales. I think they've just got to recognise when they've got that turnover ball, there's opportunity to score off it, and then their own centre pass, so they could take 2 goals from them.
We were talking about this yesterday in the Scotland game about it. You know, it's so important to get a bit of a run and maintain that. You know, like, so you score your centre pass, you break it, and it's vital that you get that next centre pass again.
You're correct, Nolene, and it's the teams that have that momentum are the ones that are going to go on and take the scoreline out and make it virtually impossible. But at the moment, I sense there's just that first time ball's not going as well as it could. When it does go, it's really, really effective.
So Wales with the rebound, coming back on the attack again. Plenty of space through the middle of the court. And Jennings-Evans just stepping in under the post. And that's lovely.
And that was lovely. I mean, you had hand speed, you had ball speed, you had width, you had space. they can do that all the time and pull that consistency together, you know, they'll be very difficult to beat.
We're seeing that Maisie Morgan is getting a lot of the Welsh centre passes and the wing attack. So is that a particular game plan, do you think, of Wales?
I would have thought so. She's a very effective, she's got speed, she's got good vision, and I would be hoping that they'd get their second ball with a lot more depth for their goal attack. I mean, there's good energy and commitment in going for the ball for both teams. Perhaps they just need to tidy up with some of the contact.
Good awareness there by Georgia Allen, recognising that Stapley was just under the post.
Yes, but that's where she needs to finish it off. They get a second crack.
And Emirates bring their tally to 6. 10 for Wales with just over 3 minutes left in this opening quarter.
Yes, and we've got some nice movement there between Carter and Evans. Carter has just started to drift out of the circle to take the ball a little bit, which allows Evans under the Jennings under the post. Some neat steal there by Evans.
The Welsh defence are doing such a good job of filling that space, so it's that second phase, well, aggressively stepping out for the first phase, and then if that second phase does go, they're filling that mid part of the court.
And that's why it's allowing them to push the score out to 12-6. It could even be more if they'd have actually finished off.
There's a lot more patience for them now, feeding from the circle as they're looking to get that ball in.
And again, using Jennings as the target. She's done a lot of work both out and in the circle. And some neat, clever play there.
But it's just finishing those shots off. Sometimes those ones under the post are the worst ones.
Well, I'm not sure, you know, I'm a defender, so I was a defender, so
I'm experienced.
I'm quite glad they don't go in as a defender.
And as a defender then, for those shots that are under the post, you know, positioning wise, it's really difficult, you know, to put pressure on that shot sometimes without obstructing.
It is, and I think defenders just have to adapt. They can come from the side, they can come from behind, they can double team. There's a variance that they can use. You don't want to be giving free shots. It's a good pick up by Jennings. And there she is again, using her body weight really well on the defender, just opening the space for herself. Very clever move. That was a shame. If Spal had only just ran through the space and ran through that ball, I think she would have taken that ball cleanly. But she saw it really well. Sorry, Evans.
So we're into the closing minute of the first quarter, 14-8. Wales will be looking to bring another one to goal here as we close out this first quarter. Very good, so 14 seconds on the clock. Time for Emirates for one last crack. Long ball into Georgia Allen, unable to connect it. It comes off the post. And unlucky, it was a great ball down to Jennings Evans.
It was great awareness of the time and the space that the shooter had.
Absolutely. So that finishes off the first quarter. Score is 15 to Wales and 8 to Emirates. And Kendra, so great start by Wales. They we did say they were a bit nervy, like firing balls into that circle unnecessarily in some cases, but they seem to have settled down.
They did settle. You had Jennings at times coming out to control and then obviously going in, setting up again. But what was quietly impressive was the number of turnovers from the defence that they did manage to get. When you look at Sproul and Warren, they really are putting you're looking at Evans and Carter, get my teams right, who are really putting a front defence, a front mark on, which is quite difficult. And because you've got handover ball by Francis, the attack from the Emirates is struggling to turn quickly and see open space.
And they're having to force then those high balls, which then is given either Millie Carter or Megan Evans that chance to come out hunting for those interceptions. So we'll just have a wee look at some of the highlights from that first quarter now. What do you think the Emirates coaches will be saying to their team during this quarter time?
I think they've obviously got to get their goal attack involved a little bit more. I think also if Alan stays on, then she might need to change her position. She might need to come to a front position instead of holding behind. And I just think they need to be patient when they've got ball, play a short, sharper game around the circle edge.
Excellent. And then anything in particular for Wales to be focusing on going into this second quarter?
I'd just be patient on your turnovers. Even if you're playing extra passes or you're having to set it back to your wing defence and goal defence, just to reset it in order to keep possession to score from.
Absolutely. So we are just ready to start the second quarter shortly, but don't forget you can keep in touch with us on Twitter using the hashtag NEU17 Champs, and let us know your thoughts and feedback throughout the game, and we'll give any shout outs as well. So the teams are still listening to their coaches here in this quarter time break, just getting ready to come back on the court again. So 4 minutes in a quarter time, it's enough time just to get a few key messages from the coaches, but then
So as a player, you need thinking time. You need to be able to listen to what you're wanting and then to be able to assimilate it, and also to be able to talk to the people around you. This netball is a game that's played in units. And so at the end of the day, they've got to assimilate the information from their coach, have thinking time, talk in their units, and hopefully go out and put in place what changes they need.
Absolutely, and these sort of competitions are brilliant for that. So we find a lot of girls are getting their first caps at this Netball Europe competition, so it's different actually doing it on the international stage than what it's like in training as well.
Oh, absolutely, and there's that pressure. But at this level, it's learning to cope with that pressure, and it's having fantastic opportunities like netball where you learn to know what your open and your senior players are doing. You go through the same pathways, the same development, and it's just hopefully replicates what's going to happen at open level.
Exactly. So we are back underway in this second quarter. Possession with Wales, it is 15-8. And Emirates have created a turnover. They'll be looking to chip away at the lead that the Welsh have got from that first quarter.
That's a good start by Emirates. Turnover ball to goal. It's now if they can convert the second one with their own centre pass.
We can see that Wales are still doing that three over the line, that wall defence, and the Emirates guards are both behind them in between, so it's really struggling to get out for that centre pass forward.
It might have been that the goal attack or wing attack need to come off the line, or they might have to look back to go forward again. Remember, they've got 4 options at centre pass, not just 2 forward ones.
So Emirates back within 5. And you can see there's a level of intensity has just stepped up a bit for the Emirates defence here.
Yes, and they've had 2 turnovers within about the last 2 minutes. And again, it's just a little bit slow on the transition, but at least they're still keeping possession. Nice dodge. Oh, lovely cover. Unlucky it was within 3 feet.
That's one of those ones that's just inside the circle, so lovely pass and go there.
And just couldn't finish it off. Just a shame she couldn't finish it off. It's good advantage from the umpire there. And there's that 1-2 drive.
There's great pressure by the Emirates. They're really forcing Wales to pick options, reset.
And they're working really hard to get hand to ball. Just on occasions the arms go first instead of the feet. That's a much better drive, much more depth. It's a shame it's been brought back and not advantage, but it was a much better drive to the edge.
And Stapley able just to drive through the middle there, but again just unable to get that shot away.
And that was much more free flowing by the Welsh. Lots of nice dodges into movement and a lovely feed into the circle. Yeah, the short, sharp work at the top of the circle was working, but again, it's just that final feed. Finish it off with a little bit of flair and finesse.
Lovely ball through the court there by Warren. She saw, I can't see who that is. It's Lara Begley in the mid-court. But again, Wales turn the ball over. So definitely a very defensively minded open to this second quarter.
Yes, they've just got to look what's in front of them. It may even be that they might have to change pace. You know, if they get the quick ball from transition into the middle, then they need the composure and the control going into the attacking third. So somebody might just have to hold it for a tenth of a second and rejig the timing. It's a neat feed in and a nice goal to finish it off. And this is an opportunity for Emirates to bring the score back up again. It's 18-11 at the moment. So both teams putting pressure. We haven't had a goal yet. Jennings could change all that. Emirates are not without opportunity. They are working really hard for turnover ball, but they've just got to use the spaces a little bit more, with a little bit more clarity.
And that's a super drive out by Russo just to open that up and really commit the Welsh defence so that the space then becomes obvious.
And there's the reset, really sensible play, keeping that possession, a much cleaner and better shooting opportunity. Great work by the Emirates. And the Welsh forced them to do that. That's good work by Morgan. She's practically taking every other ball at the moment. The defender was being quite clever there, but unfortunately just couldn't go through the body.
Jennings Evans recognising that there was the space there, letting that ball bounce as much as she can, knowing she had the defender on her back.
But Warren tried her best to try and sneak it between her legs.
Again, Begley driving, that strong drive through the court is really opening up things for Emirates and allowing them then to get a reset in the attacking third if they need to. And Morgan with another centre pass for Wales.
Yeah, she was looking for that second ball to drive to the circle, but it just wasn't on. But again, they just reset themselves. Really effective play.
You can see the work by Francis that she's doing there to try and stop that movement.
But what's effective is they're just opening it. You've got the top and they've got the pocket round the circle, and the Emirates are just opening that up. And thankfully their shooters are driving and moving with the play, so that's good.
So still a 7-point game, 21 to Wales, 14 to Emirates. And Emirates now just creating another turnover, chance to bring it back to 6.
Yeah, that 3 defence on the line. They've obviously been copying Wales with their defence, but again, it's not being able to use their turnover ball effectively enough.
It's a great rebound there by Sproul, and again, ball quickly through the court. Just struggling to get those.
I think on occasions, if they can actually dodge and drive the same side as the ball instead of using the cross-court ball, I think it would be much clearer, much more easier to get to the circle edge, and they'll keep possession better. But both teams are doing some really good work at centre pass. You know, credit to the coaches. Tactically, they're really thinking and putting the pressure on each attack.
Allen with another lovely shot. So we're back within 5. Emirates making a comeback here. You can see Morgan is looking for those options. She feels they're just not there yet, but still good patient play by Wales. But Sproul with the ball and possession to Emirates again.
They don't give up, do they?
And it's within 4 with Emirates centre pass, so momentum with Emirates just at the minute.
Yes, but there's those basic mistakes that you really don't want at this stage. And again, Morgan leading the attack for Wales, looking for options. Just a little bit more move, and that was better. Just a little bit more interchange between the Welsh shooters needed, not just holding body all the time.
So that's a wee settler there for Jennings Evans. So 22 to Wales, 17 to Emirates.
And that's the second centre pass where they've come across the line before the whistle. Deemed offside, early offside. Great cover work by Carter there, watching the ball the whole way, but it was a bit loopy. Better movement by Jennings, opening up that circle for Gallagher.
Lovely lovely hands there by Elise Gallagher, but unfortunate.
Yeah, I think her team was still attacking, weren't they? There's the reset ball. Looks like another contact call on the edge of the circle. Oh, and a
contact call within the circle as well. It's a difficult one to call sometimes, isn't it? You know, as a shooter, I was always trying to hold my space, but then the defence are always
trying to close it down.
Yeah.
But in a situation like that, you could question, you know, is it really interfering with play? All you've got are players jockeying to try and contest for space. Do you just allow it to get on, see what happens, see how it develops?
So Alan there just staying in that space as Stapley left it, just to be able to get that lovely front ball, which seems to be working well for her.
And it does, and she's got long limbs, it's very difficult to get round. Really effective play, but Wales now, you know, at 23-18, they'll be looking to score off this centre pass. And that was good work by Jennings, holding at the edge of the circle and creating the back space behind her. That was really good work by Millie Carter there. She created that error just by closing down Georgia Allen. So the Emirates looked for that cross court and it just wasn't on.
And we have a time called here. So Jennings Evans is leaving the court. And Esme Cornelius comes on with 1 minute 48 left in this first half. And is that a tactical change at this stage, or do you think it's a
she did look like she was limping, so I think at this stage it was, because, you know, scores 24-18, it was working, but she was limping as she went off. It's had the desired effect. We've got turnover ball at the other end, and hopefully it comes through to Cornelius.
Lovely rebound there by Gallagher, and she puts that away. So 25-18, 1 minute on the clock. And that's a lovely change of direction there by Morgan. She just waits until the defender has committed to the initial movement. And a strong step back. It
was really good, because she unfortunately had 2 offsides, but she's obviously learned from that to get her timing right.
And Warren is still working so hard here, being that nuisance that a defender needs to be.
There is a slight height advantage with Cornelius that perhaps wasn't there so much with Jennings, but she's just got to keep moving around, closing down the space, mixing up the space, making it muddled for the attack, so when the attack turn, they're not quite sure where to put the ball for her.
Possession with Wales. There is less than 15 seconds on the clock. Can they bring this to one more goal to close out this first half? So they were looking for that long ball in, just over a third. And there goes the whistle. So at the end of this first half, the score is 26 to Wales, 18 to Emirates.
And it was a very close second quarter.
11-10.
Yeah, Emirates upon some really good defensive work, both in the circle and at centre pass.
It seemed that both teams started really strong in defence at the start of that second quarter there, and it seemed to really make a big difference for Emirates. They were hassling Wales, they were forcing them to put the ball off the sideline, you know.
They were forcing the errors, and when they created their own turnovers, both teams were a little bit naughty in perhaps not getting it through to goal, and perhaps that's something they can learn for this third quarter, that, you know, be a little bit more patient, look at where your spaces are, who's your 1-2 to drive it through, so you've got time to move from defence into attack.
So thanks very much, Kendra. We are just going to watch some replays from this opening first half, and we'll be back with you shortly. I am delighted just to be joined in the commentary box now by Claire Briegel, so Chief Executive of the INF. And Claire, how are you?
Hello, lovely. Yeah, great. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you very much.
Do you know what? It's brilliant to have you here and to experience this under-17 event. Obviously, we've got the Netball World Cup coming up in July. How important are these sort of events to prepare for those major competitions?
Well, this is where it all starts, isn't it? For the young athletes, their first taste of international competition. These events are superbly run by Netball Europe. They're run according to the international rules. So for the athletes, they get to taste what it's like to compete at the international level, to understand the step up from the national game, and the umpires, obviously, they run with the international rules, and so for them it's their training ground. It's how do they cope with those conditions with the extra pressure. Delighted to see the size of the audience here today supporting the under-17s. They're going to have to get used to playing under that pressure when everything's at stake, and the exciting to see different teams involved at this level as well.
So it is very important for the development of netball, and you're saying it is for the umpires, it is for the coaches, it is for the players to experience what that top level performance is actually like.
Absolutely right. When we think about, when we're actually recruiting international umpires, this is where they've learnt their trade. We see how they perform. We're obviously delighted these days that most of these matches are actually live streamed. That's an investment by Netball Europe, so that we can actually access footage. We can see how the players are coming on. We learn a lot from these events too, and it's very special because I'm based in England. I can come to Huddersfield today and actually observe these matches. I'm just thrilled to be here on such an important day for Netball Europe. Obviously there are celebrations going on with the England Netball Archive being launched later today in Huddersfield, and then the big one, the World Cup, coming to Liverpool this summer. So a lot going on in England right now.
So tell us a bit more about the preparations for the Netball World Cup. It is in July, but that's not going to be long coming right now.
No, absolutely. So it was about 4 years ago that England Netball won the rights to host the event. They put a terrific proposal to the International Federation. The event's going to be held at the ACC in Liverpool, so that's the M&S Bank Arena. So there is an organising committee that's been established by England Netball, and they put the event on according to our rules, so we work very closely with them. Really delighted to see the interest so far for the event. I think we've been absolutely astounded by the interest in ticket sales. So it did help that England won the Commonwealth Games last year, and that obviously catapulted them into the general public awareness, which is just terrific for netball generally. And so out of the 130,000 tickets that are there, we've sold about 80,000, but there are still plenty of sessions where there are tickets available. So really would encourage people to go on the website and to buy tickets for what's going to be a absolutely fantastic 10-day celebration of netball.
And it's an opportunity for people to see a different style of netball. So obviously we have all the European teams here, but we'll be having Caribbean teams, teams from Oceania, so it's a real different flavour of netball over those 10 days.
Absolutely. So you've experienced it yourself as a player. Netball around the world is played differently. We've seen a huge rise in the strength of the African teams. We've got 4 African teams playing in the 16, and we've got representative teams from each of our 5 regions. So it will be a great spectacle, and there will be competitive games at all levels. We've seen a big change in netball over the last 10 years. The competitiveness of the teams, it's no longer just about Australia and New Zealand. Nobody knows who's going to win this World Cup. It could be any of those top 6 teams really could come through. Each of them have beaten each other over the last few years. So with the right draw and the team with their head in gear, who knows who's going to win this time.
And that makes it so exciting for everyone watching it, either coming along to it and also being able to watch the matches on TV as well. There's going to be great coverage.
Really, really excited that both Sky Sports and the BBC will be covering the Netball World Cup. We've had terrific support from both broadcasters, and they are really keen to profile women's sport now, and that's made a huge difference to netball, and I think it's where it deserves to be.
It's funny, even from my own perspective, you know, in Northern Ireland people are a lot more aware of netball. They're aware that the Northern Ireland team are going to the World Cup, you know, that Scotland will be there and England will be there as well, so there's plenty of interest.
There is, and I think it's a virtuous circle that the teams are doing so well now. Their success is being broadcast, then more people are taking notice, and then they're becoming more successful as a result. So yeah, we're really on and up right now in netball.
Excellent. Well, here, Claire, thanks very much for coming and talking to us.
That's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. So the teams are just getting back on court for the start of this second half. 26 to Wales, 18 to the Emirates. And we're just waiting to get underway here. So again, you can hear the Emirates defence. They're very vocal, very loud, chatting away to each other, trying to just disrupt that Welsh attack.
Yes, and it was a good start for both Jennings and Cornelius. Jennings has come back on to the court and now at goal attack. That's lovely use of the space by Wales. So first time ball in as well. That one-on-one will work on a first time ball. And again, Morgan just needs to be a little bit. Oh no, it wasn't Morgan's offside. It must have been an offside at the other end.
And we see just a bit of a knock there to the Welsh goal defence, Megan Evans. But she's picked herself back up again, and she's back ready to put pressure on this Emirates attack. Good communication between the 2 Welsh defenders there, switching, covering the space, and ultimately coming away with that turnover.
Yeah, it was great front ball positioning by Spal, just to nick it, really effective. Evans, I keep calling it, must get my teams right, I do apologise.
Again, Wales just wanting to bring that ball right onto the circle edge to get that feed in. But good rebounding by Emirates, they're back on attack again.
Not a lot of movement ahead of her there, so having to look to reset.
So the Emirates have a couple of busy days here. They played 2 matches yesterday, and then they'll have another game this evening at 7 o'clock. What sort of toll do you think that's going to take on these athletes here?
Well, I will say they're young, and the young are very resilient. And I think energy and excitement will only get them so far. I mean, at the end of the day, it's something that perhaps the coaching staff can reflect on, that perhaps they might need to fly in a day early just to give them a little bit more prep. But 4 games in 2 days by any standards is tough. But they are showing themselves incredibly well.
There's an incredible work rate throughout this game. and then it's just that recovery time in between, and the coaches, I'm sure, will have a set routine for the girls to make sure that they are getting a bit of downtime, they are refueling and rehydrating as well.
Well, Debbie Jones, the head coach, has got international experience. She's been an international herself, and so she knows her stuff. She's an educator, so fingers crossed that she gets them all ready for that match this evening.
That was a lovely ball into Allen, and she pops that one away. So it is 29 to Wales, 21 to Emirates. Great pressure by Emirates on that centre pass there.
Yes, for whatever reason, the Welsh had cornered themselves into one part of the court instead of trying to open it up.
You can just see the position of the Welsh attack there. They're wanting to get that front space. Maisie Morgan and Titley just wanting that front ball.
And that's a good tactic to get Jennings on the move and wide, because it just opens up that circle for Cornelius. I just hope they don't, not too predictable all the time. But there's a turnover for Wales. Let's see if they can work this down through transition.
You can see Cornelius is able to start very, very high. She's pushing Warren out to the top of that circle. And then it opens up that space for her to drive to the post as opposed to away from it.
That body on body is very effective for her. As you said, she's at the top, and the feeders can recognise that the space is closer to the post. As long as it's accurate, it will work. And there's the width that Jennings is offering. And a neat little pop into the space.
Cornelius gets another go at it. She puts it away. So 32 plays 21. 5 minutes gone in this second half.
And again, another good defensive effort by Wales off centre pass. But there's a contact call this time against Allen. Good switch across the court by Wales. Oh, and the long bomb worked.
The crowd liked that one as well.
Yeah, I think Francis did too. Again, just a little bit of disruption with the Welsh centre pass. Maisie Morgan perhaps needs to come off the line a little bit more, give herself a little bit more space. She's just not got her timing right on occasions.
As you know, we are streaming these games live on our Facebook page and Twitter, so you can get in touch with us using the hashtag NEU17 Champs. And it's good to see the people watching us on Facebook now. So thanks, Karen Gardner, for the good luck message for the Emirates. And hi, Brona McAfee. It is good to see you are tuning in to watch the games today as well.
And that was well spotted by Carter. She just watched the ball, had that front position and took the intercept. I think both teams are trying to use this long pass into the circle, and I think if they're just, again, we talk about patience, we talk about treasuring possession and just working a little bit closer, it would be perhaps a little bit more effective for them both, particularly if shooters are hiding behind defenders. Let's see if they can open up the space a bit more.
You can see Allen just directing the traffic there. She's wanting the ball to swing around to create that open space.
And it was just the idea of putting it into the post was good. It was just the execution in the end.
Allen collects her own rebound and brings the score within 11. 33 to Wales, 22 to the Emirates.
And that was better from the Emirates. 2 passes in the circle, so that depth of run from Strapley is really important from that centre pass. There's Jennings using the width and just patient with the dummy, with the feed. Lovely feed.
So again, both teams very aggressive on that first phase of the centre pass, stepping across the line really strong.
As they say, the old adage is, you know, first sign of attack is defend well. See, there's a lot of the Welsh attack now going through Jennings. You see the height difference. I think there are occasions where perhaps Sproul and Warren might need to double, might need to just zone on the space, just to muddle the space a little bit for the Welsh attack, make them think of something else.
It seems that Cornelius and Jennings Evans have got into a real rhythm now, and they're finding that open space, so just need to keep changing it up.
Yeah, the score's gone out to 10 now, so defensively they need to just mix it up in there. And that's easily said than done.
As we say, this Netball Europe competition is, you know, an experience for the girls where they're putting things into practice, you know, that and a chance to keep trying new things as well.
It is, but when I would hope that when Jennings goes that wide, you keep her wide, you don't allow her to come back in and drive the baseline to open up the circle.
Good vision there from the Welsh attack to find Cornelius. And again, great pressure on that centre pass.
Yeah, Russo has really got to have a second move from that centre pass. She comes out and then stands instead of trying to draw the defence to take them somewhere else for another play to come in. But the idea is there, the space is there, it's just the final execution of that pass into so that it's accurate. Yes, and that's a beautiful feed by Tipley, just seeing the space that Cornelius has opened up. Oh,
well done, Nicole Sproul. She read that and just came in from behind, took it strong, took it clean. Opportunity for the Emirates now. Alan has been very good directing where she wants that ball. Unlucky that time to be able to put it away, but she's trying to get it into a position for her where she's comfortable to shoot.
It's just that final finishing off with the fingers, with the follow through, you know, that sort of upside down J shape with the ball, just to let it drop. It's just, she's just undercutting it a little bit at the moment, just undershooting. Again, there's Cornelius demanding the ball. There she is, the hand is up, see me, look at me, give me the ball. But it's good patience.
The umpire, Damon Warren, to be contacting there. And that's another one for Wales, so 39-26, just over 3 minutes to play in this third quarter. It's a lovely feed in there by Stapley.
And again, there's some lovely circle work by the Welsh. They've just been really patient. I think Cornelius felt the ball might have or could have gone earlier, but they were very patient, and the final ball in was really accurate. It's good defending by Jennings, but she's been deemed to be illegal.
And you can also see the work that Francis is doing on the Welsh, as the Welsh wing defence here. She's making Russell have to work very hard.
She's struggling because she's using her width instead of using her depth. If she drew Russo forward, there's a little bit more backspace. So sometimes it's those lateral movements. She's not getting rid of it because she's so effective. Again, that ball is actually quite easy into that circle now. I think the Welsh are on what we would call a roll. Oh.
Well read, Nicole Sproul again.
She likes proving me wrong, doesn't she? And that's the tenacity that you want from your defence. You know, the scoreline is getting away from them a little bit, but they are not giving up. They're still working hard. They're still trying to make the Welsh think. Again, some intelligent work there by Cornelius, just taking it onto the 1 foot. Takes her closer to the post. And again, really effective work by Francis. Her one-on-one marking has been quietly exceptional, her front marking.
So a wee shout out to Pauline Hardy, NDO in Humber, who's watching us. See the Belfast Social Netball are also checking in this game as well. And Sam Sharrett says, good luck to Esme Cornelius on the court here, and I'm sure we'd all agree she's had a super impact coming onto this game.
Oh, absolutely. She's got athleticism, she's got height, and you know, even there she's put a lovely little dodge in. It's just a shame she couldn't jump at the end of it to gather that ball in, but she has had impact. Her and Jennings together have really moved that scoreline forward.
So the Welsh will recognise there's 20 seconds left on the clock, just bringing this ball up into the circle. It's a lovely drive by Jennings Evans, but there's Warren again putting pressure on that. And now Emirates have one other. No, they don't. It's a backline pass for Wales, but there isn't enough time for the team to take it. And that concludes the third quarter with a scoreline of 43 to Wales, 27 to the Emirates. So really strong quarter there for Wales.
Yes, defensively they really stepped up to the mark and put an awful lot of pressure on the Emirates attack, and you see from the scoreline they were only allowed to score 9 in that quarter to Wales's 17. So it's a really dominant force, and I think a lot of it was the defensive work from Wales, but also capitalising on turnover ball with Cornelius and Jennings. Really effective pairing in that circle.
There has been that ease of finding options in the circle. There's still really strong options off that centre pass from both Morgan and Jennings Evans. So the Welsh attack able to bring that ball right down to the circle edge and then pick the open option.
Yeah, I think in that quarter particularly they had width and they had depth, which is really important. That's, you know, a couple of times where the ball went in just within 2 passes off centre pass, whereas you could see the Emirates were really struggling defensively to get across that transverse line and then forcing the long ball into Allen when she's behind.
So we will be able to have a look at some of the replays from this third quarter now. And going into this final quarter then, Kendra, what do you think Emirates coaches will be saying to their team?
I think they might need to mix up their attack. They might need to look at their sort of wing attack, goal attack area and perhaps put in a change. You know, Allen is doing a sterling job, but I do think on occasion she hides. I think if she was a little bit more front, or if she drove out to open up space for Stapley, and equally defensively, you know, they're under the cosh a little bit. When they mix things up, they get hand to ball, but it's making sure any turnover they get has got to be transferred through to goal.
So we do have another evening of netball for you. At 5 o'clock, Northern Ireland take on Scotland, and then the Emirates are back on the court again at 7 against England. So plenty of action here in Huddersfield at the Netball Europe U17 Championships. So it's great to see so many of you watching live now. Phyllis, Charles, hope you're enjoying that nice wee cup of tea. And it's good to see Ange Clement cheering us on from Singapore as well.
Is that Phyllis Charles from Bedfordshire, I think? I know a Phyllis Charles in Bedfordshire. And if it's you, Phyllis, enjoy your cup of tea while you're watching.
So Emirates are back in their huddle. Final words from the coaching team in the Welsh camp, and we will be getting the teams back on court shortly for the final quarter of this game. So 43 to Wales, 27 to Emirates. So just as we start off this last quarter, we can see that Georgia Allen has come out into goal attack, and Strapley has moved back into shooter, and we'll be able to confirm all the changes for you as soon as we get them here.
And that's quite sensible defence there by Wales. Put the double back onto Allen, but they still found a way through.
I think it was that strong presentation by Strapley at the front which really committed one of the defenders to that ball and then opened up the overhead option to Allen. So good smart play by Emirates there. And well done to Warren, getting a tip on that.
It's a shame she just doesn't quite get two hands on it, because that'd be an absolute corker of an intercept. But she forced the error. Oh dear, I think we're all right. So just a slight collision from behind.
Well done, Evans. She's back up and back on the court again. And there's that lovely hold from Cornelius, just the placement.
It just needed just a little bit more softness, a little bit more height on it, and it would have dropped beautifully. But some good defensive work going on right from the top end from Wales, right from goal shooter down.
That's great pressure by Wales, just forcing the Emirates all over to that one side of the court.
And that's the pressure where they then try to put in the lateral ball. So well done, Wales.
No options there for Allen. She was forced to fire that high ball across the circle, and the Welsh were just there to pick it off.
Yes, unfortunately the Emirates attack were doing what my old coach used to say was about pitching tents on circle edges. They just needed just a little bit more movement. But this is Welsh opportunity to get a score on the board for this quarter, because the Emirates have scored both goals so far in this quarter. Wales are yet to score.
Just to confirm those changes for you at that quarter time. So Stapley has gone to goal shooter, Allen to goal attack, and Shama has come on at wing attack for the Emirates. Good hands by Allen there. Still possession with Wales. And a lovely feed from Morgan again to Cornelius.
Yes, it's never easy to come into a game, so we hope that Inez Shama really is able to open up some space in the attack for her team.
You can see Francis doing such a good job of keeping Shama away from ball side on that circle edge there. Super work.
She's a really outstanding young talent, athletic, intelligent, and there she is driving her team through the midcourt.
And Jennings Evans still able to find Cornelius under the post with the double on her. She's just unable to put that shot away.
Yes, it's just a little bit of breathing at the end when it comes down quite quickly, or where you've had to take it under the pressure of two defence. Sometimes just taking a deep breath before you shoot helps.
Emirates just not seeing clear options and having to force the ball through the court at the minute. Good defensive pressure by Wales.
Yes, some lovely patience by the Wales. If I was the Welsh coach, I'd have been delighted with that flow of the ball through the court. And again, just a little bit composure there from Cornelius to finish off.
On the baseline and puts that one away. So 47-30, just under 10 minutes left in this game. And Warren, so close.
Yeah, she's working so hard, but they've either got to try and take the ball a little higher, because on a 1-for-1 at the moment, because of the height difference, she's just got to keep working the spaces as best she can. And there's Shamra finding the spaces on the edge in the pocket.
Sorry, I think we just lost a bit of the feed there, so we're now back online and we have a scoreline of 48 to Wales, 31 to Emirates. And just to confirm the changes to the Welsh team in this final quarter, so Hellerman has come on to centre and Reginek has come on at wing defence.
And she's doing just as an effective job as what Francis did. We said earlier about, you know, the wing defence having a real presence in the mid-court and intelligent play. And there's Cornelius, 2 hands up, I'm here. Put it to me early.
That's one of those ones where it's the defender being called for an obstruction outside the circle and the attack being too keen to hold that screen, forcing the contact and then ultimately giving away that turnover.
Shaman's come quite deep for that ball. Again, an unforced error there by Emirates. Yes, a neat little 1-2, but unfortunately footwork.
Well held. Well, Carter, she did so well using her balance to control that ball. Just unfortunate Emirates have got it back again. Stapley, Allen with the rebound.
Yeah, it was such a shame because it was such an effort to get it. And again, as a coach, what strategy have they got in place when you get those fly-in intercepts? You really want somebody driving at you to take a simple short pass.
can see Jennings-Evans and Cornelius just splitting that circle as much as, but it was also good depth by the centre as well, just to make sure that the Emirates defence had to commit to something and there was always going to be a free option.
Yes, I think Wales are mixing and matching what they're doing at the moment, which is proving to be quietly effective. Again, there's that high defence from Wales. Just force the long ball, force the error. That's a real bonus for Wales.
So there are a couple of changes being made to the Welsh team. We will pass these on to you as soon as we get confirmation of the changes.
That's a pinpoint feed there by Hellerman, straight off the fingertips, lovely into the space.
I was going to just say that all the Welsh attack, their best feeds have been from that top of the circle edge, and they have been very consistent on attacking that top of the circle edge.
And as a coach, you want to drive your team to the top. Obviously the pockets are very useful, but if you can dictate from the top, you've got width and you've got the C into the post.
So Warren just getting a warning there for persisting contact.
It's part of the game. I mean, at the end of the day, as a coach, you want her to keep going, but equally, she's just got to tidy up in places. She's just got to make those adaptations because the umpires recognise there's too many now. I think a little bit of fatigue perhaps coming in now, so some of those basic errors you wouldn't be expecting.
So Wales pushing their lead out to 20 now, so 52-32 and under 5 minutes left to play. Lovely step in by Cornelius, just not following through on that.
Yeah, just the height, just the drop, but again from Warren she went, but then she pulled out, which was really intelligent of her because she knows she's on a warning, so that was great adaptation by her.
It's working it round there, back to Georgia Allen, who puts that one away. And another change for the Welsh team.
Yeah, that looks obviously tactical.
Okay, just to confirm the changes to Wales in the fourth quarter there. So Regenik has gone to goal defence and Wilkinson has come on at wing defence.
And that's quite nice phase play from the Emirates off centre pass. You sometimes wish those umpires just hold their whistle a fraction because they could have played advantage off there.
You can just see a wee bit of frustration there with Stapley. It was a lovely front presentation to the ball, opened it up really nice. Just unfortunate not to get that shot to drop.
And again, the execution of the pass not quite there, and Warren competing in the air.
great vision there from Maisie Morgan.
Yeah. She's put in some really choice balls today. When she gets first phase off that centre pass in a quick turn, her vision is very open. And again, just another unforced error creeping into the Emirates game plan here, which has given more possession to Wales. It's a rare error from Reykjavik.
Another goal for Wales there, so 55-34. And again, finding Cornelius with ease at the minute.
Yes, there's a lot of room in that circle for them at the moment. But it's been a very spirited Emirates performance. Offside call, I believe. Or is it contact? No, it's offside. Early offside. Oh, no, I stand corrected. It is a contact call. Oh, and that was a shame. They just got in each other's way. I think if Statley had just kept running wide, the space would have been there for Allen.
Again, Wales working to get that ball onto the circle edge at the top. Well done, Warren.
That was a little bit too energetic. She's just got to recognise when the body is solid and she can't go through it. Just back off, do something else.
It's a lovely shot from Wales, and they have one more centre pass here. 15 seconds on the clock.
Are they going to be patient or put it in?
They went for it.
They did.
But they have another chance here.
And well done to Warren to stop that last goal from going in.
Although she is deemed to have obstructed, so get another bite at it, and that finishes the second game today with a scoreline of 58 to Wales, 34 to Emirates. So was it a fatigue thing just setting in, towards the end for Emirates?
I think so to a certain degree, but also when you look at the Welsh team, I think they've got more experience. They certainly had height in the circle and variety in their attacking circle, perhaps a little bit more than the Emirates, but it was a very spirited performance, great energy for them, particularly defensive wise, and great effort by Wales to come out with a really, really strong 58-34 win.
So yes, one very exciting game for us to watch. There is now a bit of a break. We said we will be back at 5 o'clock where Northern Ireland take on Scotland, and then at 7 o'clock tune in for Emirates on again against England. What a great game, and thanks very much, Kendra, for your company here today. What will be the next steps for Emirates?
Well, they need to recover. They need to regroup. I think they've got to take lots of positives from this. And as a coach, Debbie Jones will be looking for those positives, and it's important that they rest, lift their heads up, and come back for a strong performance against England.
And then for Wales, they are now a rest this evening, and then they have Northern Ireland tomorrow morning.
Yes, they'll be certainly pushing for that runners-up spot, and on the performance today you can see why they have got strength in depth, and with the changes that they made, they still had the flow. Really positive from Wales, so well done.
Excellent. So as I say, thanks very much for joining us. We're just going to watch some of the highlights from the game today as well, and make sure you come back and join us this evening for Northern Ireland against Scotland and Emirates against England. So thanks very much for your company, watching us online on Twitter, on Facebook, and thanks very much, Kendra, for your company today as well. Our special thanks to our sponsors, Netball Europe Netball Europe for hosting this event, Inspire Sport, Yorkshire and Humberside Netball, and QTV Sports. There are 2 more games this afternoon, so we will see you later on, and one more day of exciting netball at the Netball Europe U17 Championship event. That's all from us here in Huddersfield for now. Take care, and we'll see you back later on today.